I think so. One big learning that came out of this process was this reimagining governance process was that every decision doesn't have to be made the same way. And so what we're trying to do now, what we'd like to try to do is figure out a number of things that we could decide differently.
One of the areas we talked a lot about in the reimagining governance is the different stakeholders and who should have a say and who does have a say and who could have a say. And those are not the same groups all the time. And, we talked about some of the richness we have in our organization because we have a youth council, we have a newcomer council, we have an advocacy committee, and we have a number of bodies of neighbors and participants and volunteers who are able to speak to us. And then how do we make those connections? And how do we put those voices? Either the board or the governance structure can give powers to them to make some of the decisions that the board doesn't have to make. Or how do they gather information to help the board make their decisions? And I don't think we've solved that 100%, but it was great to unpack the number of voices we have available to us.
What we are thinking about is trying to run some small pilots. So make some, we have some decisions coming up. It could be a small decision, but can we pilot that in a different way where we can reimagine how that decision is made and get different voices into that decision-making process? I think that's a way to start because it actually feels quite daunting after a process so grand where you're really thinking outside the box to bring it into something tangible. It's really just, I think a win from it is just thinking a different way. Like it's hard to get to the doing piece, but even in other aspects of my work or volunteer world, I'm thinking about doing things differently. And I think that's a win as well, because to do that, and then we do.
And I think that more than ever, we need to be questioning what best serves the charitable mission. And, what is leading us? How do we behave more like a movement and less like an institution? So I'm always interested in governance as a movement to forward a charitable end, as opposed to making sure assets are protected and working on institutional goals.